Jubilees chapter 16, Abraham at Beersheba, the birth of Isaac, and the Feast of Tabernacles. This is the 16th chapter of a 50-day journey through all 50 chapters of the book of Jubilee. If you missed part 1, please click on the link in the area underneath this video. Here you will find the link to the playlist that has all the videos. Make sure to like, subscribe and follow along each day as we continue the story together. On the new moon of the 4th month, the angels of God appeared to Abraham at the oak of Mamre. They spoke with him and told him that Sarah, his wife, would bear a son. Sarah heard this and laughed, but when she was questioned, she became afraid and denied it. Yet the angels told her the child's name was already written on the heavenly tablets. His name would be Isaac, and at the appointed time she would conceive. In that same month the Lord brought judgment on Sodom, Gomorrah, Zeboim, and the whole region of the Jordan. He burned them with fire and brimstone, destroying them completely because they had filled the land with wickedness, fornication, and uncleanness. And just as judgment fell on them, so it will be on every place that follows their ways. But God remembered Abraham and spared Lot, bringing him out of the destruction. Yet Lot and his daughters fell into sin, for his daughters lay with their father, and from them came children who were marked for judgment. It was written on the heavenly tablets that their seed would one day be rooted out and cut off like Sodom. During this time Abraham moved from Hebron and lived between Kadesh and Shur in the mountains of Gerar. Later he moved again and settled at Beersheba, the well of the oath. In the middle of the 6th month the Lord visited Sarah and fulfilled his promise. She conceived, and in the 3rd month, at the very time God had spoken, she gave birth to a son. On the feast of first fruits Isaac was born. Abraham circumcised him on the 8th day, the first child to be circumcised according to the covenant ordained forever. In the 6th year of that week the angels returned to Abraham at Beersheba. They blessed him and told him that he would live to see 6 more sons, though only Isaac would carry the holy seed. The rest of his descendants would become nations counted among the Gentiles, but through Isaac would come a chosen people, the portion of the Most High, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Abraham and Sarah rejoiced greatly. Abraham built an altar at Beersheba and celebrated a festival of joy for 7 days. He built booths for himself and his household, becoming the first to keep the Feast of Tabernacles on the earth. Each day he brought offerings, 2 oxen, 2 rams, 7 sheep, and a goat for atonement, along with thank offerings of rams, kids, sheep, and goats, with fruit and drink offerings. The fat he burned on the altar as a sweet-smelling aroma to the Lord. Morning and evening he burned fragrant spices, frankincense, galbanum, stacte, nard, myrrh, and costus, 7 kinds, crushed and blended together in equal parts. He and his whole household rejoiced with all their heart and soul. No stranger or uncircumcised person was with them. Abraham blessed his Creator, who had made him in his generation, knowing that from his seed would come the plant of righteousness for eternal generations, a holy seed belonging to the Lord. He named the festival of the Lord, a joy acceptable to the Most High. The angels blessed Abraham and his descendants forever, because he had kept the feast in its appointed season. And for this reason it was written on the heavenly tablets that Israel should celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles in the 7th month, rejoicing for 7 days before the Lord, a law forever without end. And Abraham took palm branches and the fruit of good trees, circling the altar 7 times each morning, praising and giving thanks to God with joy. Jubilees 17. The expulsion of Hagar and Ishmael, and the testing of Abraham. In the first year of the 5th week, when Isaac was weaned, Abraham held a great banquet in the 3rd month on the day his son was weaned. Ishmael, the son of Hagar the Egyptian, was there with Abraham, and Abraham rejoiced, blessing God because he had sons and was not left childless. He remembered the promise God gave him on the day Lot parted from him, and he praised the Creator of all things with his whole heart. But Sarah saw Ishmael playing and dancing, while Abraham rejoiced, and jealousy rose within her. She said to Abraham, "Cast out this servant woman and her son, for he will not share in the inheritance with my son Isaac." The words grieved Abraham deeply, for Ishmael was his son, and Hagar had been with him many years. But God spoke to Abraham, saying, "Do not be distressed about the boy or about your servant. Do whatever Sarah tells you, for it is through Isaac that your descendants will be named. But as for the son of your servant, I will make him into a great nation, because he too is your seed." So Abraham rose early in the morning, took bread and a skin of water, and gave them to Hagar, placing them on her shoulder along with the boy, and sent them away. Hagar wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water was gone, the child grew weak with thirst and fell down. His mother placed him under the shade of an olive tree, then sat down at a distance, the length of a bowshot, and said, "Let me not see the death of my child." She lifted up her voice and wept. Then an angel of God called to her, "Why do you weep, Hagar? Arise, take the child and hold him, for God has heard your voice and has seen the boy." She lifted her eyes and saw a well of water. She filled the skin and gave her son to drink. They went on into the wilderness of Paran, and the boy grew strong, becoming an archer. God was with him, and his mother found him a wife from Egypt. She bore him a son, and he named him Nebaioth, saying, "The Lord was near to me when I called upon him." In the 7th week, in its 1st year, voices in heaven declared about Abraham, that he was faithful in all things, that he loved the Lord, and that he had stood firm in every trial. But the prince Mastema came before God and said, "Abraham loves Isaac his son, and delights in him above all else. Command him to offer Isaac as a burnt offering, and you will see if he obeys, and whether he is faithful in all things." The Lord knew Abraham's heart, for he had already tested him many times. Through leaving his country, through famine, through the wealth of kings, through the loss of Sarah when she was taken from him, through the covenant of circumcision, and through the sorrow of sending away Ishmael and Hagar. In every trial Abraham had been found faithful. His soul was not impatient, and he was not slow to obey, for he loved the Lord with all his heart. This concludes chapter 16 and 17 of the Book of Jubilees. Remember to subscribe and join me tomorrow for the next chapters as we keep walking through all 50 chapters of the Book of Jubilees.